Thank you. Thank you, Gavin. The Metropolitan Discretionary Response Fund.
What time are we breaking?
Sorry?
What time are we breaking?
Well, I was going to break at 1 o'clock, but it's pretty close to 1 o'clock. Is this going to take a long time? So if could I invite staff to just briefly introduce the report? It didn't go to a committee, did it? No. Right.
So to briefly introduce the report's two aspects to this, we have an application from Littleton Tug Preservation Society, I might have those words in the wrong order, for saving their tug and keeping it seaworthy through getting its annual docking survey, and the matrix explains why they're in need of assistance for that. It came through to the Discretionary Response Fund. Now the council have given us really clear guidance through the funding review around taking a holistic look at applications and various aspects of council. So clearly this fits with the heritage team, and that's where Brennan Smythe is here from there. And so we looked at that together, looked at the new heritage strategy and using that strategy to inform how they might fund the tug. It all fits pretty well. However, the heritage incentive funding policy is yet to be updated in line with said strategy. So in conversation with the chair and deputy chair of the Social Community Development Housing Committee, we bring this suggestion to make some initial changes to allow the tug to be funded appropriately. So.
Yep. Questions? Sarah? Jan?
Hi, it's kind of something that you've mentioned there about the review of the Heritage Incentive grants. So currently it's very focused on buildings, but the Heritage Strategy is much broader than buildings. So you've got the tug here. When you do the review, and I assume that's soon, is it also going to include other heritage projects that would be covered, so oral histories and those kind of things, that are a key part of the Heritage Strategy?
There are a series of amendments that will be required to the heritage policy. The immediate issue with this one was the dry docking timeframe. So we've only dealt in this one with that inclusion of movable heritage.
Yep.
But there are other aspects to heritage which are included in the strategy, such as walks and oral histories and intangible components to heritage, which are not addressed at this stage. We need a little bit more time to think about the appropriate response to those aspects of the strategy.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
they're
the
all
opportunity
built
because it
into
was
it.
mentioned
Yeah.
to encourage that, because currently the fund only really sits with private property owners instead of maybe the shared heritage stuff that would be great to be able to incentivise projects for.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Sorry. Sorry? No other questions? Okay. So, oh, sorry, Yanni did. I knew that there was another one. Sorry. sorry.
So, I mean, we're obviously going to give considering 10 grand and then getting another report back. Can we not just allocate the full amount today rather than save all the energy, effort?
So good question. The delegation for the Heritage Incentive Grant funding decisions lies with the subcommittee. So you have delegation here obviously for the Discretionary Response Fund, and then the precise amount of funding for the Heritage Fund will go to that subcommittee.
Right, and that'll go quite quickly?
Yes, so 4th of September they meet.
That's fine, thanks.
Excellent. So, would someone like to move the recommendation? Phil, seconded by Yanni. Andrew? Doesn't matter? Okay, Andrew. Yanni?
I think the tug is an amazing project. I think it's a fantastic history, fantastic part of our city. I thought we can consider it when it comes back to the SCD, but we should be asking Littleton Port to see if they might like to contribute. But I think fundamentally this is really good to provide some support to what is a very historic boat in our city, and I know a number of community groups use it for bookings, etc. So it will just be great to see it working again.
Yep. Anyone else? Andrew?
Just briefly, I'm delighted to see this come before Council today, and thanks to the staff that have been involved and the committee chair and deputy chair that have been involved in making that happen. I certainly support the application that's in front of us today. It's come about just because of an unusual situation which has occurred as a result of events really beyond the control of the group. Who have done some great work in preserving the Tug Littleton, keeping it afloat, and in fact preserving it so that it can be enjoyed by exactly the community groups and visitors as Yanni has just described. I particularly liked the use of the wording in the report that they'd financed the boiler repair and made that happen under their own steam, which I thought, considering that this is the steam tug, was a particularly good use of words. But I'm particularly pleased to see under the new chair that they're taking a pragmatic and possibly progressive approach to both funding and also the future operation of the vessel, including bringing in a specialist to get involved in the future operation. So that's good. But I mean, the reality is that this is a group who have worked well, not only keeping the vessel afloat, but also involving retired engineers and some more elderly people, particularly in the Littleton community, in very much the same way as a men's shed would, keeping skills alive and enabling transfer of skills and, you know, giving some of these people a reason to get up in the morning and something to be interested in. So I think there are a number of social benefits here beyond just the obvious. Like Yanni, I would love to be able to do the whole lot today, but appreciate that the committee has got a role. Pleased to hear the support of the chair and deputy chair of the committee in aligning the Heritage Incentive Grant funding policy with the strategy that we passed some time ago. Almost makes me think whether when we pass a strategy, we should also then immediately be doing a stock take of other documents, policies, things that cascade from adopting that strategy, so that we don't end up in a reactive situation like this in future, that where we've got things that naturally flow on from a new strategic direction that we've taken, we then just change other documents to align with that as a matter of course, bring them to the appropriate committee or to council.
Yep, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.